And the fun part for me is usually I put the little countdown timer, but what the heck? I decided just to start recording and we all stared at each other. You in the edited version won't see
I
that.
was waiting for the do do
No,
do do
I
do.
wanted to I didn't want to give that much Bill. I wanted us to stare at each other for a couple of seconds, Billy. The edited version, you won't see that. Obviously, I'm basically looking at the surface of the sun. The funny thing is in this room it doesn't look that bright. This new camera is not doing me justice. It's weird. It's
It
either too
looks
dark or too
it
bright.
looks real bright. You look pale.
It is because
Have you
I've
gotten
got
out
the
out
window
at
in
all
front
this
of me.
summer?
I've got the window in front of me and I've got the curtain, but the problem is the curtain is like in this room, it's actually rather dark. It's actually, believe it or not, it's actually really dark in this room right now. The only light is just the one behind me.
Oh,
It's not that bright as much as it looks like. I'm ascending, Billy. I am ascending. And you know what's sending me? What's sending me is that some people are forgetting about cards that I'm trying to bug them about, the
mm.
questions. So that's what's leading my ascension, Billy. You don't want any part of this right now. So anyway, so I wanted to chat with Billy. Obviously, we chat offline quite a bit, but I thought this is a good opportunity. So this is going to be on my BIC Wrestling channel, but I am also going to refer to it from my other main channel, which I do sports cards, a lot of related to it. So I'll still connect the two so that people can check this out because I want them to hear it. I want to talk a little bit about a couple of things related to some of the products that are upcoming. Billy works with Upper Deck, so we'll be able to kind of chat with that. Let's really quick before we do anything else. Obviously, different YouTube channel, but different audience, but there'll still be some connection to it. Billy, who are you?
Billy Celio. I'm the senior product manager at Upper Deck.
Perfect. It's a good start. And obviously, you and I share a mutual appreciation of the AEW license, given that you've worked on several of the products as well and still continue to work on those.
Yeah.
And then obviously, we also collect the cards. So we'll touch on that for a couple of minutes as well. But we do collect the cards. So you're not just a client, you're also a member in this case.
Yes.
So starting with that though, you did attend All In. You did attend, which I got to watch the show. Excellent show. Really
Yeah.
well done. And the ending, a great exclamation point on that one, I would say.
It was amazing from start to finish. I know they broke the record or whatever for the longest pay-per-view. It didn't feel like it. It really didn't. I don't know how it was sitting at home, but sitting in the stadium, it was amazing. The energy was crazy the whole time, and it was a heck of a weekend to say the least.
And I'm just sharing one of the social media posts, and if you can see, there's someone who may be with me here is in this one. Now you can see, obviously, this is kind of the AW. So this is something that I'm going to talk about Billy a little bit. I'm going to start with All In, and then we'll kind of shift over. You and I have had a lot of conversations offline and frank discussions. We're not going to go too hard on this one, but we're going to talk about a couple of things. I think it's good that obviously you had a bit of a presence there. You're there, kind of showcasing. You got a couple of the boxes there. You've got Adam Cole, and unfortunately, kind of an unfortunate situation with Adam Cole,
Yeah.
which is kind of a downer and an otherwise good card, and we'll touch on All In a second. But you've also got some other representations. You've got, I think, Kyle O'Reilly there, and then you've got, Daddy Magic kind of anchoring this thing. So you've got some AEW representation, which is good. And obviously, you're
Yep.
presenting that information there, and you've got AEW Monumental. So there is some stuff there. But obviously, let me start off talking about the show, and then we'll shift over into the cards.
Okay.
So kind of to your answer. I thought the show came off really well on pay per view too. I enjoyed it
Hmm.
for what it was. It was a long show for sure, but obviously, look, I'll just speak for myself. I get the streaming version of it, and given the monitor that I have and everything, I actually this is like a 30-inch monitor, so I actually get to see it fairly blown up, and it's all in full HD. You can pause, Billy. You can walk over, grab a snack, come back. So for me, I love the fact though that it started at like 2 in the afternoon. So
Yeah.
actually, that's not bad. So and again, you can take a pause, go grab a snack, come back. The point is, Billy, I was able to have multiple meals during the course of this pay per view, and at home I could have whatever I wanted. So you know what? No complaints for me because I was able to have a very comfortable experience. And what I'll say though, and I agreed with some of the reviewers, I thought they did a good job pacing it.
Hmm.
They didn't try to do too much at the beginning of the show and kind of ease their way into it. Gave a couple of breaks in between, but even the matches where there were some breaks, I'm putting that in quotation marks, there's still something for the audience to watch. But if they
Yeah.
wanted to take a quick breather and then come back, so they were able to save their energy for the end of the show. So when you had the kind of the triple main event is what they called it, you still had gas in the tank for the end of the show, and the crowd still responded accordingly, which I thought was good.
For sure. For sure. And those little battle royals or whatever they were, those were a blast. And just it added a little bit of excitement in the middle, like, okay, who's going to be the next person? And then the next person comes, the next person comes, and you saw some new names, and that was fun. Like they kept the middle entertaining. There weren't that many matches where you're just like, oh, I can go grab some food now, or I can go grab a, a soda or something like that. It was just kind of like when the match ended is when you had to go because you just kind of felt the next one was going to be just as good as the last one.
Yep. And I think my biggest takeaway, just concluding on the pay per view, I'll say this. I think my biggest takeaway, and this is where I give kudos because I have been critical of Tony Khan on a lot of the booking, and deservedly so, because there have been things to be critical of. You came out of the show with a definitive conclusion on a few things and options going forward.
Oh yeah.
You had the big moment at the end. You had Tony Storm retaining, which is a nice little surprise, but that's still live playing. This is actually good because now how does Mercedes respond to adversity? That's a great storyline thing to do. She finally lost a match. Tony Storm is rolling into another potential great match. So this is a win-win. Both actually have something to do coming out of this.
Yeah, I did not guess that one right. I thought they were going to give Mercedes everything, and then you would see the slowly trickle down, like she'd lose one belt, then maybe another belt, and then work her way, like just kind of like a roller coaster. And I thought she would at least hit the top. And the fact that they had Tony win was a pleasant surprise. That's the great part is like nobody expected Dustin Rhodes to win either. Like some of
Mm,
those surprises were just kind of like it made it so everything wasn't predictable. Like sometimes you go into these matches and you kind of know who's going to win every single time. You almost already know what the next storyline's going to be.
mm.
So it's not fun. And in this instance, like a lot of them you don't necessarily know what the next storyline is going to be. So it kind of there's some suspense and there's some like shock and excitement when somebody that you don't expect to win wins.
Yeah. And I think in this case, like I said, I think it actually offered now both people coming out of it now have potential storylines. You've
Oh
got
yeah.
Tony Storm and Athena, great. But then you've also got how does Mercedes respond to this? I want to see Mercedes on there irritated that she lost this match, and then somebody makes fun of her or, they say, oh, you were supposed to win everything. You didn't. And there you go. But she could have a spin off feud with somebody. You can pick
Oh
a
yeah.
lot of names. It's better this way. I think it actually leaves both of them. Now you can have both of them on TV doing something, and you still got options in terms of how you want to approach that.
And that'll help grow the women's division too.
Correct.
Now you've got instead of the two strongest just going at each other, now you're going to have two separate strong people, hopefully giving two more wrestlers a bump. And um, that's one of the things with AEW is strengthening that women's division. I think they've got some really. I talked to some of the execs, and I'm just like, man, the young talent is actually really good right now. Unfortunately, some injuries have hampered some of them, but I really see a bright future in AEW in the women's division for sure.
Hmm. For sure. Now we're going to shift over into the cards now because predominantly I want to talk. I wanted to talk to you about that. Obviously, you are a collector as well, but so you feel these feels, but at the same time, let's kind of speak candidly about this. Next product coming up is Metal Universe, which is great,
Yeah,
and then also credit. So here, Billy, I always give a little bit of both. So I'm going to give kudos to Upper Deck. Ready? I'm going to give kudos.
drum
I like,
roll.
I know, I like that you promoted that on the heels of All In for SP Game Used, we're gonna have the fork card.
Yes, to
This
have
is
my
good.
the fork card. No, this is my
Yes,
lunch fork.
yeah, but this is
You know,
good.
that was
I like
that
that.
was we talked with AEW and they're all about like just doing whatever they can to help out and promote and everything. And they're like, whatever you guys need, like literally just whatever you guys need, you tell us and we'll see if we can make it happen. And I'm not kidding. The way I explain this to people, if you're old like me, is the Wheel of Fortune used to have like this thing where the room spun and the people literally would just like pick stuff like, oh, I want the couch. And then you just keep seeing stuff in the room and it spins and you pick stuff out. You don't just win a prize. You got to pick your prizes and stuff. And that's what it's like after an AEW match, like a pay-per-view that we go to. I literally get to go down to the ring and I'm like, oh, can we get that? Can we get that? Can we get one of those? And I literally just sat there and uh, I go to the guy because they have a guy that's kind of in charge of everything there. And I was like, hey, I go, do you have the fork? And he just paused and got the biggest grin on his face and pull out of his back pocket. Boom, there's the fork.
Hmm.
And my face got a bigger grin on it. And he's just like, here you go. And I was like, oh my goodness. And we knew we had something special with that. And so, like, as soon as we got back from Texas, like, we had already talked to some of the brand people and everything, like, hey, we got this, like, we want to do something with it. And we were with our design team and our brand team and everybody as quick as possible, trying to figure out, okay, where do we put this? Do we do it in a match day and moment? Do we put it in SP Game Use? And the final decision was it'd be a nice addition for SP Game Use. And I think that set's pretty much built, but we're just like, okay, we can build this one card. So this is just the first of many, according to our discussions with AEW. They want to promote stuff like this, not necessarily bloody forks, but just like one of a kind pieces of memorabilia that you only can get at such matches and pay-per-views and stuff like that. So this is, like I said, this is just the first one. We got some other stuff too. We got Luther's glasses that broke when he got hit.
Okay.
We have those. We're looking to do something with those, and I can see this in the future either being something that we kind of do in its standalone, or maybe we again incorporate it with a set like SP Game Use or something like that, because the sets do rotate and change, so we kind of have to either find a home for it or create a home for it. So I'm pretty excited about the opportunities and the possibilities for these sort of things, because we've seen a lot of excited people like, oh my gosh, I want this. Is the blood still on it? And of course we have to wash it. Like the legal
Mhm.
department would not let us just walk around with it or give out a fork with blood on it. I will say there was blood on it though when I got it.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's such a cool thing. I'm so excited we were able to do this, and it was a complete team effort. Our designer literally had to stop what they were doing and come up with the design that matches the theme of the SP Game Use designs, and figure out the dimensions and all that stuff. And then we need to figure out where we're going to build it, and it just all came together really really quickly and quite well.
Good. And you answered one of my questions that I was going to have. I can imagine that part. I understand about the legal department not wanting to have it, with blood on it. However, a suggestion for the future, because I will bet you guys didn't think of this. You should have taken a picture with it as it was and included it on the back of the card.
There might be a picture
But
that
but but I'm
that I
saying
can't
but
share.
but I'm saying
No,
the picture I would have included in the back. From a sanitation standpoint, hygiene standpoint, I get that you can't that you have to wash it.
yeah,
But I'm saying just this is one of a kind. It's a one of one. So you're not making mass
yeah.
production here. This is a one time thing, and you're designing the card. It's an oversized card to house the
No,
fork.
totally understand. And you want to know what's funny is that's the only picture on the card that we could find that didn't have blood showing, because it's literally like you pull the thing out and then he starts hitting his head, and this was the only
Yeah.
photo available that we had. Luckily, we did have a photo with him with the fork in hand and about ready to do his damage, but.
Mhm.
No, yeah, that's obviously a great idea. Again, this was just kind of something
Yeah, I got it.
spur of the moment, and now that we know that this is possible, I'm sure we'll continue to improve on it.
Yeah. I just think for the unique pieces, like if it's something that's a one thing for one specific event and all that, just
Yeah,
having that image at least give people that can because otherwise, again, not knowing without context, you've got the information at the bottom there and all that, which is great, but without context, it's like so the card has an embedded fork. Like you understand it if you watch the event, and also on my birthday, no less. So we're just clear on that.
my
But
favorite was someone commented, it's like, why would anyone want to pick a card of a picture with a fork? That's just stupid. And I'm just like, I go, it's the I rarely make comments. I go, but I'm like, the fork is actually in the card, and they're like, oh,
yes,
okay.
yeah. Yeah, but again, the context helps a little bit. Just having that one little extra element, because that's the one case where you can say, "Hey, that goes back to a little old school," because they used to put like the back of jerseys on certain
Oh
cards
yeah,
back in the day. But again,
understand.
it's a one of one. Probably a good excuse. You just take one image and you can include it as part of the design on the card.
Yeah, understandable.
Yeah, so it's a possibility. So good. So the reason I say I commend you guys is because it's a great promotional piece. The only I did a little quick video about it though. I said I like so again praise, but also we give critique where critique is valid here. I like that it's being promoted, which is awesome. But the problem is that's not the next product we're getting. The next product we're getting is Metal Universe. So
Yeah,
timing correct. But I'm sitting there like, and this Billy and I were talking about this, just being transparent with everybody. Billy and I were talking about this, and I said, what would have been really awesome if Metal Universe had been out on the week of All In. But secondly, If we missed that window, what would have also been awesome, would have still been really good, is have a release the week of the National, which is coming up.
Yeah, we tried. I mean,
And we're just
obviously we
missing
tried.
both those windows.
We
Just missed it.
trust me when I say we had meetings about when products need to be coming out. We were up in the big office upstairs, and our goal was to get a product out before All In to help promote it. And unfortunately, there's just so many vendors with so many lines and so much time, and unfortunately was unable to get accomplished. And same reasoning why it's not at the national, and we're going to miss it by 1 week. But
Mhm.
the other thing is, it does kind of match up because it is around the time that we started accepting pre-orders for SP Game Used. So there is a little bit of like reasoning behind the timing also, because we are starting to promote the SP Game Used and we've solicited it. So but yeah, no, I'm super excited about Metal Universe too. I'm sure we'll talk about that.
Yeah,
I'm excited about SP signatures. I'm sure we'll dibble dabble into that one too. But we got some really cool stuff coming out.
for sure. Exactly. But like I said, uh, in this channel, I try to be a little bit of a counterbalance, and this is something I'm going to ask you about as well. That's why I was talking about the promotion piece. So, like I said, I'm glad the promotion is happening either way, because right now we're kind of in a quiet time. So, kind of to, again, I'll give you guys a little bit of flack for it, but at the same time, your saving grace is that your competitors are in the same boat. Right now, coming up on the national would have been either one of you would have been really wise to have a wrestling product out, because we saw that in a recent Fanatics Fest, wrestling was very popular. Well, they don't have a product out for the national either. And that was, I think everybody missed that window. And it would have been interesting to see anybody just bring a product out.
I'll tell you something that's kind of cool about Upper Deck, that might not necessarily be talked about is our products kind of have two releases. It has the hobby release, but then it also has an EPAC release. And the EPAC,
Hmm.
like, you can't get our products at all the different stores. Like, let's be honest, not everybody carries AEW wrestling in their shops, or at the local Walmart or Target or whatever. So it is kind of cool. Like, AEW Allure just came out on EPAC a couple weeks ago. So it's almost like it's like a second release of a product. And along with that, we actually just started Pack Wars a few weeks ago too. Just another addition to our AEW, where you can just buy some packs. And there's I think this last week I think I got 18th place. Like you're saying, I buy cards. I was playing Pack Wars, and I got a Samoa Joe out of 100 and an Anna Jay out of 25. And I think the top
Hmm.
prize was somebody, it was a hook card out of 5, a memorabilia card. So
Okay.
like they have prizes, and then if you win, you get prizes along with, and there's like rare parallels that only come for Pack Wars. So some of these sets, and I know it's not a brand new set, but
Hmm.
some of these sets do have second lives when they do come out in the EPAC and you see it, and it's kind of cool. That being said, yeah, it would have been great to get Metal Universe out in time.
For sure. And I'll circle back around to that, but I want to talk about a couple of these products. So we'll talk
Mhm.
about the next products for the next couple here, and then I'll circle back around to it and some questions kind of related to that, but we'll touch on it. Let's start off in order. We'll start off with Metal Universe. That's the next one. We had the skip as a result of the
Yeah,
last one. It was going to be released earlier, but now this one's going to come out, and there is some good stuff related to it. Obviously, gold PMGs, that's a big piece of the puzzle. You know that I have a gold PMG. You have a gold PMG.
I have a gold
Uh,
PMG.
yeah, so I collect Britt Baker, which I talk about on this channel, and you collect Ty Mello. So we've got that going for us, and yeah, obviously that's a big chase. But there are a bunch of other ones. You have incorporated some previous Skybox designs into it. I believe a cut above is there.
Yep.
That's one that's a big one, and I think that'll be interesting. So obviously we see the mock-ups. How do you feel it holds up to the original? Is it kind of captured a lot of the essence of the cut above?
Oh yeah, it's a great design. And whenever we're doing a metal set, like Jean usually has her eye on it. So like that's kind of her baby. So
Mhm.
when we build any kind of metal universe set, she kind of gets a look at the designs before they go out. And I think she's pretty happy with the cut above this time. And I think it's a really cool design. Because there's so few of them. Like, there's different types of cutting. The cut above requires laser die cutting. So they're
Mhm.
kind of expensive, so there's not a lot of them because if you laser die cut thousands of cards, you can't afford you can't
Yeah.
afford to put anything else in the set. So I really think these came out cool. Very happy with that. But there's a whole bunch of stuff in here
Yeah.
that I'm really excited about.
We got Jambalayas here. I'm just scrolling through. These are the old mock-ups, so obviously we'll get updated as or updated imagery. This one, I think, like the sky blue here, actually turns out again. This is a mock-up, so I'm not gonna hold you two guys to that exact
That's
look,
the art.
but this
That's
is
the
a good
artwork.
one.
That
So
is the
this is the
artwork.
one that you would have for
Yep.
that. So that's a good look. I think that right there comes out with wrestling. I think this works actually really well. This
Oh yeah.
concept, and then with certain characters, it works particularly well. So I think that'll be great. Obviously, you've got a lot of these will be the chases here.
Yep.
PMGs, the golds. That'll be something. So I think I like a lot of the aspects of it. That's the reason I was asking about the cut above is because, as you mentioned, Jean is someone who was responsible for the original, and we discussed in the past that she helped get the recipe of PMGs closer to the kind of the recipe that was being used.
Yeah.
So she obviously has some insight in terms of how these should look, or in terms to get it as faithful to the original as possible.
Yeah. And then another thing that one of the things I really like about the wrestling collecting. So I also build Hockey Metal Universe, and
Mm-hmm.
one thing that I've seen is they they respect the inserts a little more. I would say the rare inserts a little more than the hockey collector.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times I'll watch hockey breaks and they'll just fly through stuff, and I'll be like, "Whoa, there's only 100 something copies of this," like in my head, sitting there thinking, and they're just flying through it like it's a normal insert, and it's just like that's actually a pretty rare insert. Whereas I believe the wrestling collector like kind of recognizes the rarity of some of these things, and when you're sitting there trading and selling and buying and all that other stuff, I think people um, get a lot more value out of the rare inserts.
I'd agree with that. I think it comes down to an appreciation again, since a lot of wrestling collecting, in my observation, is a lot of character collecting.
Yeah,
I think there is kind of an appreciation of being able to get a breadth of different inserts, different varieties, and all that. It makes it more fun. I think for speaking just for myself, trying to put together. Also, just honestly, again speaking truthfully, um, if you are a person who collects sports cards, you have a certain kind of context for what these things cost. But then you think about what it is in kind of the wrestling side of things, especially when you think of an AEW versus a WWE or some of these other ones, you'll see some of these big eye popping. You can build a really nice collection of really nice stuff for relatively inexpensive compared to kind of a sports counterpart. Like you see the big gap in these price points
yeah,
depending
they
on the
th-
item.
they don't have necessarily the huge like $10,000 cards for the most
Mm-hmm.
part. I
Right.
think I mentioned how much I paid for my gold PMG, in the hundreds, as opposed to hockey, you're talking thousands.
Correct.
So like you said, you can I don't want to say you can collect the rainbow, but you can like collect all the cards of a specific wrestler for the most part, or at least like most of them. I mean, obviously the one-on-ones are tough, and sometimes the
Mm-hmm.
green PMGs are tough and whatnot. But all the inserts and stuff, it's a little easier to and more affordable to do it. That being said, like I see value out of in flagship. I've seen value out of lenticulars and clear cuts a lot more than I do in hockey. Like the clear cuts in, unless it's like a big rookie, the clear cuts in hockey don't do as well as I've seen the clear cuts in AEW have done.
Mm-hmm. Sure. I think that makes a lot of sense. Now, kind of let me pose a question. I did scroll through a couple of the mock-ups there. Obviously,
Mhm.
this is going back. This Beckett page that I was showing there goes back to kind of the original solicitations. That
Yeah.
was back in the early days of it. Obviously, we'll get updated stuff as we get closer to it. You talk about the checklist, so based on that, it should be forthcoming soon. And then I'm gonna do a video where I'm gonna break down the checklist. I'm gonna go through it. Billy, I will scrutinize it with a fine-tooth comb.
Oh,
Don't
I know.
think I won't.
I've never like listened to or talked to you and everything's been perfect. So
Mm-hmm.
I expect it. I will say, so like people are like, oh, is this just the 23 version or whatever? No, like we obviously went in and updated some stuff. Like some of the artwork that we paid for those cartoon ones, some of them, a couple of them might be outdated. We actually did pay to get some new ones done, but we couldn't do the whole set because that
Mm-hmm.
costs money. We're paying artists, um, and that just adds to the cost. But we did update the checklist. that being said, like you still might see some Mariah May in there. I think Mariah
Hmm.
May's last product is SP signatures.
Sure.
So, but that's because these cards have been printed and made, and we had inventory, and let's finish them off and be done with it. I'm sorry, Brooke Monroe or whatever the heck it is now, but
There are
there's
jokes about that, but I'm going to leave that be. Uh,
Yeah,
it's
but
It's Blake Monroe. Blake
or
Monroe.
Blake Monroe, whatever. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah, no, there, I mean, there's obviously a few wrestlers that have moved on, but that happens everywhere. You know, what's funny? I was talking with Adam Cole because they were talking about how long the process it takes to build a
Hmm.
set of cards because they are in shock that it takes like, 12 months to build a set of trading cards from start to finish. And I'm just like, yeah, Adam, I go, like, we were making cards of you and you were still coming out in NXT cards and AEW cards when or WWE cards when we were putting you in there. And the same happened with Cody Rhodes, where, we have Cody Rhodes cards coming out and he's coming out in WWE. So it's, you do your best, but when cards are printed on specific types of forms that you can't just pull cards off.
Hmm.
You do what you do. Luckily the licensor understands, and we get it fixed.
Hmm. Now, big question based on that, because I'll ask you the question now because it would have been the question for the next couple products either way. But I'll ask this.
Yeah.
Obviously, there is that long lead time, and there's only so much you can do with it. But I guess the question would be, obviously, Metal Universe is going to reflect a certain thing, even in the mock-ups and everything. You're going to see some Mariah May in there. That'll be
hmm
part of it.
I think
But
she's on the
then
box, isn't she?
she might be. I can't remember
Yeah, I
for that
think
one. It's possible she might
she's
be.
on one of the boxes. I think it's
Yeah.
metal too.
Yeah, which makes it more hilarious. But
Right.
the point is that, so I guess my question is, though, we've talked about this in the past. Obviously, we'd like to, and I've suggested to you, I would love to see like one more product per year, be closer to a four, because I feel like the quarterly would be kind of a thing. That's just me. That's just my thought process on it. But at the same time, with such the long lead time, it creates these big long gaps in terms of getting these characters refined. Not just characters that have left, but
Mhm.
also characters. So like, imagine I'm looking at this now. I'm going to go through the checklist and everything, but it took a long time to get Billy Starks in there. And then she was off a product, on a product, off a product. And again, that's a good name to have in there because now she's kind of slowly getting a little more
Yep.
established into it. You got some of the Ring of Honor folks are slowly getting established in there. But then you've got Alex Windsor, who's new. You've got Megan Bain. So, if somebody is interested in maybe collecting Megan Bain, yes, you can get the debuts. But then there'll be a gap between then and the time you get the first cards you can actually pull.
Yeah.
So when would we, how many sets down the road would we expect to see the first Megan Bain stuff?
I think it's coming up soon. I saw her signing cards, and the hard sign, and that is in I believe that's signatures. I'm not sure if she's in metal or not.
Mm.
That's a good question, but you'll find out tomorrow, and you'll critique it tomorrow if she's in there
Oh,
or
I will.
not. I know
Oh,
that,
I will. Yeah,
but
but that's a great name there that I know that some people would genuinely be interested in
100,
because that'd be a great one.
100%. And, we do our best to, like, we'll even hold some TBDs when we're building the checklist, but there's a specific date that they have to have the finalized checklist in.
Mm.
And once that date's hit, you can't change anything. So
Yeah.
hopefully she's in some more sets very soon. And some of these other people, I have a little Billy Starks collection going on myself, kind of like those prospects. And I think she's going to, like I said, that women's division's growing. She performed at our CDD conference,
Mhm.
and I was like, oh, maybe I'll start collecting her because it was just kind of cool to see the person live.
Mhm.
So, yeah, that's pretty much. Uh, Cross your fingers. Like I said, I probably could pull up the checklist and tell you right now, if you want like that
Sure. I think
that
that'd be nice.
news.
Yeah. So and I'll just say, part of the reason though I say about it is it's not even necessary for me collecting it because I got my hands full with my own PC collections, but I still think it's good. Bringing in new blood into the checklist,
Oh, of
it gets
course.
everybody a little bit more excited about it. I think it's better for the product to have that new blood in there, and it keeps things interesting and gets maybe somebody else in there. Hey, I'd like to collect this person. And there you go. There's another potential collector.
Yeah, like you're probably, well, he won't see autos because she never signed for us, but like Soraya is going to be in Metal Universe, and obviously she's
Mhm.
gone. Um, but all right, let's try to hook you up here. We're gonna
Sure.
go Metal Universe Master Checklist or Checklist Final. All right, since this is gonna be out tomorrow, right?
Hmm.
Or are we live right
Yeah.
now?
No,
Oh wait,
this
it
is
says
recorded.
live. Oh, haha. Okay. You're looking for Megan Bain.
Hmm.
Let's see, Mark Briscoe, Mother Wayne. That rhymes.
Well, that would be a new name. Yes, that would be included in there.
Um, Britt Baker.
I would hope so, Billy. Otherwise, we are going to have words. Don't make me come down there. I will.
It looks like you're gonna have to wait one more set.
Hmm. All right. Well, there you go. So I thought I would check in just for anybody who might be interested and curious, but it was worthwhile asking. So that's fair. So let's go. Let's move on from Metal Universe because I got you for a little bit of time here, but I want to make sure I get in a couple of questions as well.
Yeah.
So Metal Universe is the next one. That'll be an interesting one. I'll probably open up a box or two in there. We'll see. We'll see about that on the channel. So TBD to be determined on that one. Uh, After that, we get into SP Game Used. So that'll be a couple of
Yes.
months, basically kind of end of September, I think, ish time frame currently. That's kind of the current target dates. Obviously, you got the fork card. That's the big one that was kind of promoted. But then there is all the other stuff in there. There is some interesting game used memorabilia in there. That's kind of your higher end product for the year. That
So
kind of
so
fits that category.
so what excites me? This is built similar to hockey, but what it excites me about this is it's the price point. Like you guys have asked for autos, and I understand. We're very stingy with our autos,
Hmm.
um, and this is one of those quite affordable products that there's an auto in every box. And I can't really get into SRP, but because I one am terrible with tariffs and conversions and don't know what's tariffed and what's not right now. But it's a lot cheaper than Spectrum. I'll say that
Hmm.
much. And you're gonna get three base cards. You're gonna get a parallel that's numbered or ratioed, and then you're gonna get two mem cards and one autograph card in every
Hmm.
box. And it's really cool. Like there's dual autos, there's triples, there's quads. There are some really cool memorabilia pieces. We've got tag team rope, which I don't think has ever been used before.
Okay.
We've got some chair relics, some the belt that's strapped in that you're the no disqualification one. That one's kind of fun because like remember when I said we just get to pick a bunch of stuff? These are just like all the different things that people have used in matches that we've said, hey, can we have that? And instead of making like one insert, I'm just like no disqualification. It's one of those like they use some sort of instrument or something to beat somebody up. Let's just put it in a card, and it kind of sums up everything. So there's your girl Britt.
But I was
Uh,
gonna say, don't tease me with this. Like I'll make sure I'll check in. So I'm just saying, so you can't play these games. We
and
got this
then
one here.
this one's awesome. And like they even use like the indented part, so we get the actual strap. Like they change out the plates on the belts, and they take off the plates and they'll just have strap, and they're just like one time they're like, "Do you want this?" We're just like, "Are you kidding me?" And I think it premiered in Black Diamond, and we were able to get it again in SP Game Use. So
Mhm.
we have a number of different championship straps that AEW has provided us.
Yep. Now, one thing I will tell you, and I don't know if it's still in the marketing copy, but I did have some fun with this when the initial, the mock-ups and everything came out. In some of the promotional copy, it originally said for the first time belt pieces, and I'm like, is Black Diamond a joke to you?
No,
Like,
I
and I
saw
literally
that.
put it on there. I was like, that wasn't the first time. Literally, we have
I
it in Black Diamond.
I even mentioned that to someone, and for some reason, it still went through with that copy because I specifically told them this isn't the first time. And then they're like, "Oh," and I thought they'd fix it, and it didn't get fixed. But
Yeah,
mistakes
that's
happen.
fair. So I think there is some interesting stuff in there. One thing that I would probably say that is going to be an interesting challenge. You got the banners, the banner years, and all that. That's
Mhm.
part of the ticket thing, which actually is not a bad idea. Honestly, they've been used before, and I think the ticket is again related to a specific event.
Oh
So I
yeah.
think that's kind of a
Yep.
fun thing to include in there. The one thing that I look at, and I'll pull up the example here from the mock-up, and this is always something I'm consistent on this point, so nothing new that you haven't heard before. I'm always kind of iffy on kind of the again, it's cool that you can spell out the name,
Yep.
but it's not like an actual piece of memorabilia. It's kind
You
of
are
these
correct.
manufactured things. So
Yep.
it's like I don't know. Have you guys
This is
gotten a good reception on these? Like, how do you
this
feel
is
about these at this point?
well, we'll find out. But this is one of those things where we wanted to kind of test it out. We've done things similar to this, and just kind of like you don't know until you try. And there are people that are specific wrestler collectors. Like I will probably, if Ty's in the set, I'll probably uh try to get her name spelled out and then just put it up in my cubicle or whatever. But
Mhm.
so we'll see. Uh, but it's something different. I don't think it's really been done in competitors where they try to spell out the wrestler's name. And the wrestlers, you do see their name in the marquee and stuff, so it's just kind of like, well, let's see how it goes. Maybe this is a one and done. Maybe people love it so much. You see the manufactured patches in Black Diamond where it just, you know all it does is create a logo, but man, those some of those puzzle pieces sell for a lot of money. And the thing that I keep, like, people were complaining about having the announcers and the national anthem singers and stuff like that in the most recent credential set. And I was
Mhm.
just like, really, let's go look at the prices of what they sell for, because they do have collectors. I think there will be collectors for this. And if you get one and you don't like it, I think you'll have all the opportunity in the world to flip it or to trade it and get something that you do want.
No, that's fair. Like I said, like everything else, we'll have to see how it plays out, and we've got a little bit of time between now and then to figure it out. So, same
Yeah.
thing. I'll probably get a box or two, and we'll kind of take a look at it. I always like to, and this is part of the reason Billy and I get along. We always joke about it. Any critique I give him, I I, I buy the product. So I'm gonna, but not just blindly. I'll look at it and go like, I'm willing to give it a chance. I want to look at it myself, and then I will make my own judge. But then when I give a critique, it has a little bit more credibility to it. It's like, no, I'm not just saying I don't like this, I don't like this, I don't like. No, I literally buy the product, look at it for
Yep.
myself, make a decision, and say, okay, I like this, I don't like this. This is why, and that's a critique.
There's so many times where, like, people need to get the cards in their hands to really see how cool some of the stuff is, or how if they don't like it, they'll be like, oh, this is horrible. But yeah, no, I do appreciate that about you. Is even though, yeah, you're very critical, but you're critical because you back it up with having proof in front of you if you don't like it.
Hmm. Yeah. And I always think that's the fairest way to do it because then, hey, at least you tried it and you can say, hey, I like it or I don't. But then there's at least a reason why. You can at least judge it based on that. So again, we'll
Yeah.
take a look at it when the time comes. So that's the second of the three products, and then the third one is the newest one that was announced, the SP Signature. That one, it did create some
Yep.
confusion though. So let me kind of ask you a question. I don't mind the concept of it.
Yeah.
This is kind of where it gets a little bit interesting, the design on a lot of that stuff. I like the mock-ups, and a lot of the design on it. I think
Hmm.
actually looks pretty nice. Where I think it's kind of interesting, and I literally got that in feedback in comments because it's SP, the SP brand. We got the SP game use, and then the SP signature. I literally had people flipping them back and forth because they got confused because of the SP.
Hmm.
Did you guys think that having those two back to back maybe would confuse some folks? Because I've noticed some people in the comment section literally like, wait, isn't that one coming out? They're talking about SP Signature. Isn't that one coming out, in the fall? It's like, no, that's SP Game Use. Wait, that wasn't the one from next. No, SP Game Use is the next one, and then SP
It's
Signature is the one in the new year.
it's all about, I mean, it's branding. So, like, it's
Yeah.
called SP Game Use and SP Signature Edition.
Hmm.
Um, Legendary signatures. Should we do AEW SP Legendary signatures and come up with some quote unquote legends for you?
Well, let me tell you, I could give you a list of the SP Signature legends. It is a passion project of mine, Billy. A passion project of mine is to talk about SP Signature legends at any excuse. Don't tempt me with a good time.
Look, I've already seen. I got to watch a lot of these cards get signed this last weekend, or not last week, but during All In, and man, these cards look the hard sign stuff looks great. I really like the base design. I think that came out real good. I'm really excited about this set. And again, you're gonna get an autograph in every box. I think I saw on your site that it was like 100 Canadian or something like that.
Right now, that's the
So
pre-order. Yeah.
yeah, so do the math, like math via US, and you're probably looking somewhere between 60, $70 and for a guaranteed autograph. And then we added a couple cards in there. There's going to be a base card numbered at 249, and then you're going to get a parallel. And there's a number of parallels out of 99, 75, 50, 25, 10, 5, 1. So, it is limited. Um, but we kind of did that too, because it's just like, you know what, if you do get that Trent auto or whatever, and you're kind of disappointed, maybe get a 101 MJF, base card or something like that. Like we can kind of like loop the product to where, we try to make every pack as strong as possible. Um, but I'm really excited, and like I said, the designs look great. The graffiti, the black on gold, some of the cards I've seen from that. And what's awesome is these wrestlers are filling in the space. So it's not like Anthony Richardson drawing a little AF on it, but they're really filling in the space that they were given. The Incredibles look great because it's like they're even like Tony Storm is literally like signing it and making sure she doesn't, like, because there's a second picture behind it, and they're
Mhm.
like trying to avoid themselves in the second picture too. So they're being very cautious of the design. But these cards have come out great so far. The ones that I've seen, like we'll get updates every now and then, and they'll post it in our group. And I'm really excited about this product. And again, this is one of those products you guys have been asking for it. An autograph, more autographs. This is it for you.
Mhm.
There's a lot of autographs for sure. And then there's multi-sign cards. There's duals, triples, quads, um, and there's a couple other like cool inserts. The angles. It's funny because initially it was called SP angles, so it was gonna be spangles or something like, and it's just like this doesn't work. So we we took off the SP and just called it angles. But
Mhm.
like those cards look really cool, kind of like a old like a fight poster or whatever. And then they signed it kind of like the old exquisite cards where you kind of go down the side, or even like the autographics. Um, but this set so far, everything I've seen from it has been amazing.
Mhm. Like I took a look at a lot of the mock-ups and everything and kind of did a little breakdown of what was being shown here. And I do agree. I think a lot of the concept of it I think could be really interesting. Again, like the Statlander and Megan Bane. So right there, Megan Bane would be one that we just talked about.
Yep.
So a card like that I think would be really good. But this is where I said the time delay thing, like this would be an amazing set to have out, before the end of the year, because right now is the Ascension is happening. Right now, Statlander is actually getting a little bit of a storyline. So the timing would be really good. Either way, it's still like looking pretty good. Although, and one of the things I mentioned, the authentic signatures, or as I like to call it, AEW Future Watch, because it's basically what it looks like design
Th-
wise.
if
And with a
if it
with
yeah.
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I heard that comment and I'm like that was an interesting comment, but again, we're really focusing on branding, and SP signatures is not have future watches in it, even though it does look like a future watch card, but
It does.
we just that's not what it's going to be called.
No, I know, because like I said, it's signature edition as opposed to SB authentic. But that's why I was kind of looking at it, going like, I didn't mind the concept, and I think the price point, to your point, for per box is not going to be bad. I
Mm.
just think it was an interesting situation where like if it had been SP Authentic, you could have done the Future Watch. It would have fit into the checklist. You still signature triples is not unusual in SP Authentic and things like that. But I get the idea. The emphasis here is to get the signature part in to really give people that one. And the price point per box is not bad. It's just one of those things where I feel like now we've got obviously it'll be January, so it'll still be in the new year, but it feels like we'll have almost back to back two set because it will be SB game used and these two and this one will be back to back, and it'll be two sets with few cards per box. And then we rotate back around probably to flagship or whatever the next
Yeah.
one's going to be after that. So it'll be interesting to
Yep.
see how that plays out.
Yep. And then I think Allure will probably be after that one. What's cool about this set too is there's, I believe, two multi-side cards in every inner, and
Mhm.
there is three hard sign cards in every inner. So people have been asking for hard sign cards. People have been asking for multi-sign cards, and we definitely delivered in this set.
Yeah, which is good. I think that'll be appreciated just to have the additional hard sign in there. It's something that's probably been going. And to your point, I agreed. The graffiti I thought looked good, and the incredible, similar to kind of incredible from the past. I like
Oh
that was
yeah.
used. The images and everything looks like again we're using mock-ups, but conceptually I like the idea, and it gives enough room for the signature, and some of those signatures should look pretty good in hand. That'll be one that'll be worthwhile to see in hand what it looks like.
Yeah, I think honestly the only new insert is the angles one. I think because graffiti's been done before, Incredible's been done before, obviously authentic signatures. So we kind of wanted to make sure it still like had the branding of some of the stuff that's been done before, but we just didn't want it to be like a retro set. So we added one new insert for you.
Absolutely. And I just thought it was funny though, because based on the promotional material in the mock-up, you have Tony Storm and Hangman are the two people on it. I'm sitting there again. The timing, Billy. The timing.
Look, I can't help it if we do a great job soliciting, a timing for solicitation, um, but getting the product out's a different story.
I was gonna say, like the problem is we have this in reverse. Like if this had been the product that we were talking about next, it's like, hey, look at that. Look who's on the box. Perfect timing. That would have
Yeah.
worked out just brilliantly.
Yeah, I mean they do the solicitation and that only takes a few weeks. So then they get it out there. So they usually pick people that are, you know, uh, relevant at the time and storylines that are relevant.
Absolutely. So I'm just checking in. I had a couple of notes and questions that I wanted to make sure I asked. So obviously we covered the sets there, and we'll talk more about it down the road. I was chatting with Billy, and we'll definitely follow up once Metal comes out and we start getting a little bit of feedback on it, and we'll be able to talk about it some more. So let me ask this question. I got you for a couple more minutes, so we'll get into a couple questions here. Obviously, the national is coming up. To your knowledge, is there anything upper deck wise to expect from the national coming up here, wrestling wise or otherwise? Just in general, any plans from upper deck?
So we'll have our, our box redemption packs and stuff like that. And there might be some wrestling content in those sets. I'm not exactly sure. I don't build those. I do know AEW's in town. Unfortunately, I don't think we have anybody coming. They always keep that stuff a secret to me, but I think they're busy because I think they have shows during that time. So
Mhm.
they're kind of they're already being used for stuff. So but we'll definitely have some fun stuff going on. We take pride in what we do at the national. It's a crazy, crazy couple weeks. We actually have San Diego Comic Con this week, and then the
Mhm.
next week we have the national and Gen Con, I believe, are the same week. Or maybe it's Gen Con is the next this week. No, I think it's national and Gen Con. So
Mhm.
our event team is absolutely slammed with work right now. That being said, Upper Deck, Chicago, Michael Jordan, you know, we we usually show off a lot of nice Jordan stuff that you just don't get to see anywhere else at the National. I'm sure he'll be a big focal point. I'm sure you'll still see some Bedard stuff also, and and obviously McDavid and all of our other spokesmen are going to be well represented there with memorabilia and cool stuff to see.
Absolutely. That sounds good. Now, kind of a circling back around to one of the questions I was going to come back to. So I'll kind of ask you this at the tail end. One of the things that I'm looking to do with this platform, because you already know that I've got my main YouTube channel. This is kind of my secondary one, but it gives me a good venue to talk about this stuff a little bit more in this area. That's why I do the breakdowns, and everything, because the sports card folks may not necessarily be interested. There's some crossover, but I give people the option. I like to have them back and forth. But I know in this space, speaking of wrestling cards, it's a little underserved, but it's also as a result of just the way that products come out. And that's why I mentioned earlier that to me, it's unfortunately a miss that none of the major manufacturers were able to hit on a product in time for the national, because I think it's good for the space anyway, just to get interest in it, to drum up
Mhm.
some interest. But a lot of the coverage is going to skew WWE heavy just because of the nature of their brand power and all that. But at the same time, it's tough, and we've talked about this before, and it goes under the category of critique when there's just these gaps between products, and that's for both
Mhm.
products right now. When there's these tough gaps, there's just not enough news. So how do you keep things front of face when there's like, well, what do you want to talk about? You're right, there is EPAC, but it's an EPAC for a product that has already been out for a while. there
Yeah.
there is a big gap. So Allure would still be interesting, and there are still some cool cards in it right now for a person chasing singles. I am interested in the EPAC drop
Mhm.
because I'm looking for those singles. But for somebody who's looking for the next product, well, that's not going to be the next product because it's a product that you already could have seen if you bought boxes originally.
Yeah, we are currently at 3 products a year, where we will have a flagship. We will rotate metal and allure.
Mhm.
That way, we just don't kill the PMG values and we don't kill the golden treasure values. It's just like they're not coming out every single year.
Mhm.
And then we usually do like a specific a specialty one, like the game used and the SP signatures. But there has definitely been talk to figuring out a fourth one,
Mhm.
and that's it's in the talks right now. Like we have meetings and we specifically talk about wrestling. We specifically look at the calendar and figure out when we're going to put out wrestling products, what time. Like I said, we tried to plan metal around all in, and unfortunately it didn't happen. But we'll be we'll be continuing to try to hit those notes. I know it was important to also get Goodwin out around the same time as the national. Also, not to say that Goodwin took the place of an AEW product, but
Mm,
we definitely think about getting products out in time for the national, and I know we were able to accomplish that with Goodwin, and we were hoping to do that with AEW. It didn't happen, but to spread it out, you're preaching to the choir. We talk all the time about it, and we've talked in the calendars. And I will say we've got some people internally now that are really focused on getting these products out, getting them out on time, and they really care about the products. Our project managers, our coordinators, we've kind of got a new crew of people that are big time into wrestling and big time AEW fans. They were working at the expo with myself, talking to the people. I felt bad because they're like, why is Kenny Omega only have one card in this set? And I'm just
mhm,
like, oh, you want to go talk to him, that sort of thing. But like we've got a group of people now that I think you'll see a big improvement. And I think you've already seen a big improvement, even in just like the photos that we've chosen for specific cards, or just the amount of collectible inserts and cards that we put into sets. And as you said, getting the products out on time, like it's starting to happen. So I'm happy about that. I think you'll see more improvement as time progresses, and hopefully, when we have this discussion about 2026 all in, you're going to be all excited about having just opened up a box of Allure right before all in, and how much fun it was to open it up.
mhm. Good. All right. I'll leave you one last question then, and then we'll have conversations offline because I gotta have. I've been too polite to Billy, and it hurts my soul to be
Dude,
this nice to Billy.
it's weird to me. Like
I was
I don't know how
saying.
to react.
I like the other version of me where I'm a lot meaner to you. But let me ask one more question, kind of in the same vein of the checklist side of it. I mentioned earlier that obviously there is a rotation. AEW is almost kind of using obviously it's still the same roster. Like at the end of the day, Tony
Mhm.
Khan employs all these people, but Ring of Honor to me is still almost like, and this is just us talking out loud. Ring of Honor to me is almost like a built-in excuse for subsets. Because again,
We
you're rotating
yeah.
the talent. Like they're there.
Mhm.
And by the way, Billy Starks is technically Ring of Honor talent 95% of the time. So what are we talking about here?
Yeah, it's a matter of if they've been on, like we ask about Ring of Honor, and we're kind of told like no. Even though they own it, like
Yeah.
we have to wait till they're in the AEW, unfortunately, or they do stuff in AEW, and then we can take. Like when Ty finally came back, she didn't
Mhm.
come back in AEW, and like we had to wait until she actually came back in AEW before I'm like
Mhm.
put her back in the checklist
So, so they're
because
really
she
holding the
was
line
done.
even on AEW folks that appear in Ring of
Yeah,
Honor for a bit.
100%. Yep.
Really?
We were not allowed to put a time mellow. Like you've noticed, she hasn't been in a couple sets now. I think she finally makes her return in signatures, or maybe game. She might have a game use card in there because I told them like just pull the card if we can't use it,
Right.
because I have that power. No, just kidding.
Hmm.
Um, but anyway, yeah, so we definitely want to, but they're really particular, and they go through all of our checklists, and they'll give
Hmm.
us ideas like, hey, someone's gonna be getting a push real soon, so try to feature, so and so, or hey, this they might know that someone that's going to be absent for a little bit of time. Obviously we heard the hold off on Mariah May,
Hmm.
so that stuff does happen, and one of those things that they tell us to not do is Ring of Honor, unfortunately. Otherwise, Athena probably would have a lot more cards.
Yeah. That's the kind of the reason because I'm looking at folks that especially now she is going to be featured a little bit more in AEW
Yeah.
right now with her current program, and but she's kind of been around, so it's not
Mhm.
like she's never been on an AEW show. These folks have been, so they're
Yeah.
kind of back and forth here and there. It's kind of interesting the way that plays out.
Yeah, and I'm interested, and I'm not gonna butcher anybody's names or try to remember everybody, but I know there were some people that might have debuted at All In that were from Ring of Honor also in a couple of those matches, and so like I'm interested to see if we who we can use and who we can't use in those
Mhm.
situations. If they were in the pay-per-view, like, hey, can we use it? Are they new arrivals? Like, I don't know yet.
Mhm.
I know we just put out the new. I just know we put out the all in, match day and moments. Which if anyone has an extra gold, I that's the last one I need. Thanks.
Nice, nice. Well, so I'll leave it at this. I'll leave it at that for now. We will revisit, we'll reconvene, and have another conversation after Metal Universe comes out. I have a
Mhm.
chance to open a box or two, and then I can kind of, I'll do my video critiquing and everything. We'll talk offline either way. But I'm done being nice to Billy. This is over. Like we're done with this one. More videos will come up on the channel. We'll have more stuff and box breaks. It's like I even got Billy. I'm so impatient now. I even got 2025 AEW flagship blasters. I'm just like, you know what? I need to open something. I'm like,
Dude,
enough.
you saw my Instagram. I did a little bit of spending here recently. I got the Golden Treasure auto from Allure of Ty. I bought a high
Mm,
gloss for a really good price, 2023 or 2022, one of those two. And then I got the I got the buyback,
mm,
the base buyback. I was so mad I missed out on the canvas. Like someone outbid
mm,
me, and I thought I
mm.
had it for sure. So then I bumped my price up for the base version, and it went for way cheaper than the canvas. Although the canvas was at 10 and the base was at 8.5. But then I wanted to show this real quick. But
Go ahead.
then I also
Sure.
got this cool card, Luke the Cardist. He's gonna be
Yeah, I heard
working
of
on
that guy.
he's gonna be working on Allure with us. He's gonna be doing the color flows this year, and he was nice enough. He gave me his 101 Ty Mellow card, and this is just awesome. It's gonna be sitting here on my desk, right next to as I drop everything here, right
Mm,
next to my Ty Mellow action figure,
mm,
and we're just going to put it back up there. But big shout out to him, and I cannot wait to see what he does with the color flows. We just got all the photos approved and everything. It's really cool because the color flows that we've done in the past has been uh, picture like the same picture 5 times,
mm.
and this year or the next allure, it's actually 5 separate pictures that he's
Okay.
going to do his artwork throughout the whole thing. So it's still a
Nice.
puzzle, and it's going to be red orange, like his smoke and his artwork is going to go all the way across. It's still going to have like the colors, but it's not the same card every time. So it's
Nice.
kind of it should look really cool. I'm excited about it. But
Yeah.
thank you, Luke, for that card. And yeah, I've I too feel your pain. I've been
Mm-hmm.
buying a lot of secondary market cards.
Mm-hmm. So next time around, so next conversation, I promise, as Billy already alluded to, he's a big time metal collector. So next time around, we will still have a conversation about metal, but I'll give you a heads up, I'll give you time, and we'll share a couple of fun cards from our PCs because I think that'd be fun for people to see as
Oh,
well, to
for
know
sure.
that some of the Upper Deck folks collect as well. So we can definitely do that. We'll have a little collector's side conversation as we share some cards. I think that'll be fun for everybody.
He knows his Britt Baker collection's better than my tie collection. He's gonna be flexing on me. I know it.
Oh, it's gonna flexing so hard. You don't even know the amount of flex it's gonna be having. And I haven't even warmed up yet. Like I got more stuff coming in. But the point is, either way, Billy, a pleasure chatting with you. But I'm done being nice to you. The
All
next
right,
conversation we'll have a little bit more fun, but I'll quickly talk to you separate from that. But thanks everybody. I will include some links in the comments in the description to a couple of the products we talked about. You already know them if you've been watching the channel, but I'll still include them. We'll include them in there, and then we'll talk a little bit more some stuff in part two. So I'll leave Billy for this one. Thank you, Billy. We'll catch you in the next one.
thanks.